I feel that strong neighborhoods begin with strong homes. Homeownership is often an avenue to achieve housing stability and generate wealth. With more than 60% of Faribault's homes being over 40 years old, homeowners often face challenges of costly repairs and maintenance. I will support practical programs that help residents invest in their homes. At the same time, I believe we need a broader range of the types of homes in town that provide options and choices for people at every stage of life. New development should complement existing neighborhoods. Mixed-use downtown housing increases downtown activity, supports local restaurants and shops, and creates housing without expanding city boundaries. Infill development fills vacant lots and underutilized parcels rather than continuing to expand outwards. These approaches lower infrastructure costs, make better use of existing utilities, and increase our tax base. By encouraging reinvestment in existing neighborhoods and promoting thoughtful, well-designed new housing, we can strengthen property values, expand housing opportunities, and ensure Faribault remains a community where residents choose to live.
I think our city's current approach, right, is we're sitting around a 1 to 2% rental vacancy rate, which I think to most people is just, hey, we have a few open apartments and maybe we could use more to potentially cause a decrease in rent. To combat this, we are having developers come and make more and more large-scale apartment buildings, and I do think that is going to help with the overall kind of competition between these rentals. But one thing that I've seen, and I think many people have seen in town, is these apartments still fill up very quickly. I know our new ones, the Midwest Flats, I believe they're called, our new ones are already almost full. And that happens in almost every apartment building in town because rental rates are super high right now. The main reason for that is because a lot of people can't afford homes. Faribault is pretty lucky in being insulated in the fact that we have some affordable housing opportunities here, but we do have a minor struggle with a lot of people of my generation and younger who are struggling to get kind of that first down payment for that, even for that beginner home. What I'd like to do to help combat that is to work very closely with the county when it comes to their first-time homebuyer loan purchase programs and get that initial down payment set for them and see what Faribault can do directly with them to support that so people can actually get that forgivable loan option or a way for them to really get into a starter home so they can build a future, hopefully a family, or if not a family, just a better future for themselves. Home ownership, I think, is the ultimate goal. While rental is great and good for some people, I believe when it comes to people moving to Faribault, they're targeting it because it's affordable, and we have affordable housing options that are here for them when it comes to actual houses, not just rentals. So I do think we really need to start focusing on how do we get people into houses, how do we make sure that the houses that are up for sale are going to people who are going to help build this community as well, and how do we kind of inspire that growth amongst younger people who are continuously seeing struggles every day when it comes to just general affordability, but also their ability to get that first house.
Safe and affordable housing is the foundation for good health, family stability, and economic opportunity. Faribault needs a thoughtful mix of housing options that match the income and life stages of all people. With home prices continuing to increase, affordability is our biggest challenge. I'll champion pursuing federal housing grants and loans to revitalize neighborhoods and expand opportunities for home ownership. I would also like to see the city focus on improving our existing housing stock. There are opportunities to improve homes in terms of their energy use, which helps make them more affordable and aligns with the city's energy action plan. I would like the city to partner with organizations on renovating rundown homes and making them available at affordable prices. With my experience in this area, I'm ready to champion balanced, practical housing solutions that strengthens Faribault for everyone. Thank you.
I like what I see. I live down, like I said, I shouldn't say down, but I live on the south side of town. So to me, up is north, down is south. I live on the south side of town, southwest to be exact. So it's there's a lot of aggressive growth in that direction, heading towards the Medford area or south, whatnot. So I see opportunities down there. I see duplexes going up. I see. Not necessarily single-family homes. There have been a few, but more duplexes and whatnot. So I'm seeing the growth. And then in the downtown sector, I'm also seeing apartment complexes going up. I believe there's another one over here just by the river itself. So I think we're on the right trajectory. Again, I'm not a politician. I haven't been involved in anything like this before. So the more I know, the better I could answer that question more decisively. You asked, what was it, more home ownership? Yes. Well, that leads back to taxes and affordability. We're all feeling the squeeze. I mean, at the end of the day, the cost of living is, in certain areas, is getting pretty tough. And we've got the business. I mean, every day, or at least 4 days a week, I drive in from the north because I come out of the cities. I do all my home officing, all my office work from home. There you go. But I usually drive into the cities where I visit my customers, my shippers, and things like that. And then when I'm always coming back, and as I'm driving into Faribault, I see the new water tower, I see the Metcon, and I see Daikin, and I see lots of business. I see people are going to have the opportunity to work if they live in Faribault, for one. Because it's so far removed from the major metropolitan area, it might be a little bit more affordable as well. But my concern would be taxing them out of opportunities. So again, it kind of, all fingers seem to kind of point back to the taxation part of the equation for me.
I myself am a homeowner. I've also experienced life as a renter. I'm only able to afford a home with dual incomes, and even then, each month is still a stretch to pay every bill. I think at minimum, it should be possible to live independently as an adult with a full-time job. Home ownership could be incentivized as a city councilor by taking every opportunity to implement programs that reduce the financial burden of home ownership. Additionally, the new federal law as of last week that prevents private companies from purchasing single-family homes will be a huge asset to this mission, as that will open the door for more opportunity for home ownership.
I believe housing is best left up to the private sector. The role of the city and county governments is to work with the private sector to ensure new housing stock is built and existing housing stock is made available for sale or rent. The other thing that the city could do is work on a land trust. I know that's something that's currently in progress, and something where the community owns a bunch of property. I think of like Capaco for people who want smaller housing units. That's something that we need to look at to make housing more affordable. But generally, it should be the private sector leading this conversation.
As a realtor, I do see a great need for quality, affordable housing, especially single-level homes. I think we have enough multiplex apartments, especially with the plans already in place for those builds. But I would like to see apartments with owner-occupiers in our historic downtown buildings. I'd like to see more businesses come downtown, more apartments for more living downtown. As far as single living homes, I think some ideas would be maybe to offer builder incentives for new builds or small grants for facade improvements of historic homes or older homes. And then I do believe in connecting these larger businesses with their employees and helping their employees get affordable housing. Where I'm from in Perham, there was a family there, the Nelson family, that built some great businesses like Tuffy's Dog Food, Kenny's Candy, Barrel of Fun. They needed lots of workers, so they reinvested in the city in a major way to help retain workers and improve the city. And so they partnered with employers through housing opportunities. So I think that's definitely an opportunity. Another idea would be maybe something like offering $1 lots. I've seen that work up north too, from abandoned, foreclosed, or other city-owned properties in exchange for owner-occupied clauses that require buyers to live in their homes as their primary residence for, maybe 5 or 10 years.
Housing is one of the biggest challenges facing people in Faribault right now, and we're hearing all about it. Rentals are really important, especially to young people as they're just starting out and trying to gain their independence. They need somewhere that doesn't have a ton of maintenance, that's more affordable, and that doesn't lock them into a 30-year mortgage while they're trying to plan what their career is going to be. When you're ready to buy a home, you need options that don't require a 6-figure income. And as families grow, your housing needs are going to change. Later in life, many people want to downsize into a smaller place, but they don't want to move out of the community that they've called their home for many, many years. Right now, we don't have enough options at any of these stages. About 36% of households in Faribault are single people living all alone. And another 21% are married couples with no children. But everybody's talking about housing as if the needs are the same, and they're just not. We need apartments. We need townhomes. We also need smaller starter homes on smaller lots. We need housing that a teacher, a nurse, a young family, or someone living on a fixed income can afford on their budget. When the median household income in Faribault is $75,000, but a new construction small starter home is going to cost you $400,000, there's a disconnect there. We want people to build a life in Faribault, so we need more housing options that can meet them where they're at. At the same time, every new development is going to impact our infrastructure. It's going to impact our roads, our utilities, our city finances, our schools. And we need to make sure that when we grow, we're doing it in a responsible way and in a way that's sustainable. To me, the goal can't just be more housing. It needs to be a package deal. We need to think about housing. We need to think about where people are going to work. We need to think about families, people who want to retire. It's really about everybody who calls Faribault their home.
Certainly we see a lot of apartment complexes going up around the city. This is an interesting topic for me. If you look at the property records for any of these recent builds, or even the one they want to build out at Alina, all of those corporations are headquartered in Alexandria. And so we let these outsiders, if you will, yes, they're Minnesotans, but they're not from Faribault. They come in, they build their building, and then the rent checks go right out of our city. So to inspire homeownership, really the first thing we need to do is make it easier to build single family units. There's a lot of red tape right now, a lot of costs that go into building any kind of housing unit. If I'm building a multi-unit housing facility, those costs, can be spread out. But if I'm building one home and my costs are crazy for doing that, that makes it hard to build affordable homes. And affordable single-family homes are what we need more of in this city. That's going to inspire homeownership. That's going to give the young family that's just starting out after college an opportunity to own a home and build some equity and have some pride in this great city that we live in. Whereas, if my rent is $2,000 or $2,500 a month, like some of these facilities they want to build, that makes it very hard for me to save money to eventually buy a home, and I don't get any equity in that. So really, I want to work to cut through some of that red tape and reduce those costs to build these single-family units, small starter homes, 1,200, 1,500 square feet. They don't need to be huge. They just need to be something that can support a single person or a couple or a small family starting out.